Master Scratch knew himself to be a very clever Skaven. Since the failure of the Skaven assault on the surface, and in the absence of any warlord or grey seer, he had created for himself a sizable force, and continued to eke out a living in the ruins of the human city. So enamored with his own success, the Viewmaster began raging further and further from his lair, setting his followers on anything that moved in that desolate land. So it was that the Skaven found themselves following the forces of the skink priest Mapikaju, and decided to set upon them before they could reach a place of safety, with the tomes Lord Tenok sent them to fetch. As the rats began to flow from the holes in the caverns, Mapikaju found himself split. While he was called to strike against the verminous horde, he knew that his greater task was to get the tomes Lord Tenok wanted to safety. Unfortunately, in his moment of indecision, Gorokoth took the choice from him as he drove his Saurus warriors towards the enemy. So, as you guys can see from the picture, this is a very special narrative battle report. As Vince has come down to play with us, Vince Venturella, for those of you who don't know him, as part of his Warhammer World Tour, has come down to play with me and the boys. And I figured it would be absolutely appropriate to really get a game in our normal style. So we struck up a narrative game and included him for our current campaign. Now, it is a little different. He is playing an army that just kind of shows up out of nowhere. So I decided to play him with the Lizardmen. Now, we are not going to be forcing me to roll on the win or lose, or I'm not going to be able to roll on the win or lose table. I'm also not going to be able to get gold because we figured this wouldn't be fair to the guys to give me an opportunity to gain it where they don't. But it should be a fun game. I have not played Skaven in a long time, and I'm really not sure what to expect. But he basically made this list at 1,000 points, following all of our standard rules for the current campaign. No lords, one magic type, 15 or less points of magic items. So let's go ahead and get into deployment. Okay, starting for the Skaven, we have a little rat dart at the bottom of the hill. Up at the top of the hill, we have a warp lightning cannon. Then we have an absolute boatload of slaves. With them is an engineer. I think he took spells from Ruin. Again, I'm doing the best I can. I don't remember Skaven very much. Then next to that is a big group of storm vermin. And he has a BSB and another warlord who is serving as his general in that. And then, or I guess, I don't know if his warlord is, whatever the hero level character is. And then next to that is another unit of rats. And then way over here on the corner is the Doom Wheel. So, wow. I'm still amazed at how much Skaven can get on the board at 1,000 points. And I don't have the foggiest notion how to handle any of this. So let's go ahead and see what the Lizardmen are bringing and figure out what we're doing here. Oops, and before I forget, he did scout in some gutter runners on my flank because I didn't have enough units to spread out and protect him, and I was too dumb to do a denied flank sort of thing. And so here's basically my entire army. I've got my gigantic block of 32 Saurus. In with them, I have Gorokoth, my general with the Stegodon helm. Attached to the side of that unit, I have Kubanai, my skink chief BSB. Then I've got a unit of 11 skink skirmishers. In with them is Mapikaju. I was trying that out, see if it works any better for me. Then on the other side of the forest, I have my Bastiladon. And then next to the Bastiladon is my Salamander with an extra crewman upgrade. So I get first turn, and I'll be honest, I don't even know if that's a good thing. I have no idea how I'm handling the Skaven, so my plan is just to get the heck up there and get in their faces as much as I can. I ideally want to get in on, I think it's the Storm Vermin, so that I can't get blasted with that Warp Lightning Cannon. but I'm just not going to be able to move fast enough to get it done. You can also see I've turned the salamander around, and I don't know if that's a mistake either, but I don't want those gutter runners causing trouble behind me, so I'm hoping to turn them around and just roast them. So during Magic, this was probably a dumb idea too. I was making a lot of really stupid ideas with this. But I decided to keep Wind Blast as the spell I rolled. So I get it off on the Skaven slaves. I was figuring they were long enough, maybe I could hit them against the back wall, slow them down from getting into combat, and let me get to those Storm Vermin first. And if they hit the back wall, they're going to take some wounds. So I figure, yeah, maybe this is good. So I succeed on it. I get them moving. But not really any effect. They didn't hit the back wall. Then during shooting, the salamander hits the gutter runners, does wound. They have to panic because it's a flamethrower type effect, and they turn and flee towards the edge of the board, which I thought was a win. Unfortunately, he didn't flee very far, so he is still on the board and has the opportunity to rally. So we go into Skaven turn 1, and the Doom Wheel comes rearing up over the Temple of Skulls there. Yeah, he's going for my Bastiladon, and I'll be straight honest, there is not a damn thing I can do about that. Um, I really, like this whole game, I kind of found myself just absolutely overwhelmed, and I think it's just, I mean, 99% because I don't play Skaven, so I don't have an attack plan in mind for how to deal with them with this army. Particularly because I'm just still learning Lizardmen, but everything he's doing has me worried, and I don't know if I'm worrying too much or not enough or what the deal is. Then over here, the gutter runners rally and turn around. I figure if nothing else, I bought me a turn of not being shot by them, so that's got to count for something. And then over here, other than undoing the scave push that I did, he really doesn't move much, but then again, he doesn't really have to. He brings the rat pack a little closer to the storm vermin on the right side there, but yeah, very, very little. Then during shooting, the Doom Wheel goes bazap and liquefies my Bastiladon. I didn't lay him down to take this picture because I was having a horrible time keeping the arms on the skinks today. But yeah, those laser blasts or whatever it is, lightning blasts from the top of the Doom Wheel, just absolutely fried him. And yeah, there's really nothing I could do about that. So we go into Lizardman turn 2. Salamander starts closing in on the gutter runners. I'm hoping to get closer to him and breathe fire again. Maybe at this range they'll run the hell off the board like they were supposed to last turn. And then everybody up here goes up front. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a dumb idea. Particularly because it's just the way I was. I really should have had Moppy Kaju get out of that skink unit and have the skinks just kind of go and block up for the Saurus. Or block up his slaves and then have my Saurus kind of move around the other end. But yeah, I don't even know what I'm thinking. I would love to come up with an excuse, but I don't have one. So, we go into shooting. Salamander tries to breathe fire, fails, and eats one of his handlers, or rather, misfires and eats one of his handlers instead. And during magic phase, I get off. I don't remember what spell, but I get off. I think it's like the reroll ones to hit and armor save and whatnot on the skinks, hoping that I can do a bunch of poison shots. So that's my wonderful plan here. Um, it's I just I let myself get spooked, and I'm literally playing like a jackass this entire game. So we go into Skaven turn. What is this, 2? The not the slaves, the vermin or the storm vermin try to charge my skinks, and I flee. And I mean, obviously they would have killed. He would have killed him had I stayed. But again, my problem was is I didn't separate Mapikaju out of the unit, so yeah. Then the slaves charge because I was just at the end of the range, so Mapikaju and his skinks flee again, And so now the Saurus are there all by themselves, having to deal with some shit. Um, he did not succeed his redirect, or did not choose to make one. I don't recall which. And then during the compulsory moves, the Doom Wheel slowly comes off of the hill. I think he rolled 4 inches. And yeah, since he's not mixing me up into combat yet, he moves his other rat dart in front of the Saurus. So they're just gonna have to charge it and then die. But I'm so freaking wide, particularly with the BSB hanging off on the end. Even hitting them, if I overrun, which I have to, because there's no. I don't remember if the Skink Chief stopped me. I think it's Skink Priest. But I'm going to hit the slaves anyway and go into them on the overrun. Then he drops takes his shot with his cannon, lands it right on the skinks, and has reduced me to the worst possible number of skinks. One with the character. So now I'm rallying on double ones because he didn't kill. Or I guess there's two there. But didn't kill enough, so I'm rallying on double ones, which is. I got a chance because I'm Lizardmen, but it's not looking good. The Doom Wheel misfired, and I gotta say, that misfired table on the Doom Wheel is so fucking forgiving. All he got is some extra movement out of it, which is awesome. But yeah. So the Salamander will live another few seconds. And by another few seconds, I mean that absolutely literally, as the gutter runners just open up on him with poison shots. I take a bunch of hits, and the handlers don't get in the way of any of them. So Salamander dies. So Lizardman turn, I obviously kill or charge the rat dart. And it's hard to see, but literally I am almost touching the or the slave unit anyway. So obviously when I overrun, I'll hit that. Then I proceed to fail my rally check and keep running. Poor Mapikaju has decided that he is going to take those tomes and get the hell out of Dodge. Okay, I guess I was wrong. Sorry, there's been so many games of Warhammer this weekend with Vince, or the last couple days with Vince here, and I played Lizardmen in all of them, so some things are kind of blending together. But yeah, so I kill the rats, reform. I guess I can do that with the Skink Chief there. I'll have to double check that. But I reform like this and ready myself for the slaves to come on in. But he actually chooses not to do that. So maybe I'm just misunderstanding how Skaven play. Or he's wanting the Doom Wheel to come get some. But either way, he doesn't charge. He just kind of rejiggers his guys around, and the Doom Wheel comes in to do some zapping. And during shooting, this Doom Wheel does a couple of zaps and kills 2 of the Saurus block. Yep, and here is what I thought was happening last turn. During his turn, he also moved his second rat dart in front of me. So this turn, I charge that second rat dart, and now my carryover will take me into the slaves. Though, doing that, he has set himself up for a clever flank charge with the Storm Vermin. And Mapikaju decides to leave Gorokoth and the Saurus to their fate and runs off with Lord Tenok's books. And needless to say, 20 some odd Saurus destroy some rats, and I slam into the Skaven. Actually, I guess I'm wrong. It looks like I didn't even kill the rat block. I'm not sure how the hell that happened. Maybe they fled. I don't recall. But either case, they flee off the board at this point, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with this game? I'm so screwed. And then it's the Skaven's turn, and all hell breaks loose. The Storm Vermin come in on the flank. The Doom Wheel comes in on the rear. And I've got slaves in the front, so those Saurus are just absolutely screwed right now. So you can see after the combat, a handful of the Skaven slaves are dead, but so is half of my Saurus unit. Kubo and I decided to put on his big boy pants and challenge the Skaven general to a to a challenge. Skaven general stepped up and promptly ate his sorry orange ass. So needless to say, this was bad, and I broke and got ran down. Run, run, run! Mapikaju kept repeating to himself. The Skaven attack had been a massacre. His only thought now was to get back to the Lizardmen camp and secure Lord Tennock's prize. The skink priest did not know where the Skaven had come from, but if they were still active in the area, he would have to rethink their entire plan of action. The other forces in the land were scattered and merely small exploratory forces. A large organized force could change the battle completely. Mapikaju wandered for days and eventually entered the camp. And as he did, he was shocked to see Gorakoth and Kubanai there, having their wounds treated. Both looked badly injured, but they would heal. "What happened?" he asked the Scarvet. The large warrior looked at him emotionlessly. "After your withdrawal, the enemy attacked en masse. Kubanai sought combat with their leader, and was defeated," he said simply, with neither pride nor recrimination in his voice. "Soon our forces were overwhelmed. Before the rat-men could feast upon us, a huge explosion was heard nearby. It frightened them, and their forces broke." "An explosion?" Mapikaju asked. "Yes," Kubonai interrupted. "Once the rat-men had gone, I had searched out the sound. There was a large force nearby flying the colors of the Chaos Gods. Their wizard was in the process of reducing a small abandoned human fort to rubble with his magic. He seemed very preoccupied, so I ordered the withdrawal." Mapikaju nodded. "Well, despite everything, we have completed our task. I will contact Lord Tennock and tell him of our success. Perhaps he can spare more warriors to replenish our losses." The skink priest feigned confidence, but he knew their master would not be pleased at the size of the losses they suffered today. He could only hope that he was a large enough part of Lord Tennock's plan that the Slann would not choose to replace him for his failings. So first of all, I would like to say that was a great game. I love playing Vince. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time. But oh boy, was that a humbling experience. I mean, in all honesty, I am, and I don't mean to sound arrogant with this, but I am very likely the best player in our little group. And particularly with the Lizardmen, I've been feeling, I don't know if invincible is quite the best word, but I've definitely been riding a kind of a power kick during the games. And to see him so handily just demolish everything I had, it was a humbling experience. Now, admittedly, I think to a certain degree there was some mistakes that I made. I don't know the Skaven very well, so I really was kind of focused on the wrong sorts of things. Not that I really had an answer to the Doom Wheel unless the Saurus could have caught it in combat by itself, and that just didn't happen. Number 2, Mapikaju has no business hanging out all by himself when I only have one skink unit to protect him. That was just dumb. Particularly with the kind of shooting I had arrayed against me. He should have been safely tucked into that Saurus unit too. All in all, I probably should have ignored the gutter runners and just tried to get the salamander somewhere that it could have done any good. I also probably should have done like a denied flank and set up more in the corner, but all of this is frankly just well into afterthought territory, so maybe I'll learn something from it. Unfortunately, I do not believe I'll be finding myself playing Skaven too often in our narrative, but kudos for Vince for wanting to do this, do a 1,000-point game, and get his little piece of immortality with Viewmaster Scratch there in our narrative. It was a great time. We actually had a great weekend. We played so much Warhammer, it was ridiculous. But it was definitely a lot of fun. So I thank him. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I do have one more battle report of the game that Vince and I played the next morning, where my Lizardmen go to take the Tomb Kings, which is what I had originally challenged him to. So he should have that up in the next few days. I'll be interested to see, because I think he took some pictures of this too. I'll be interested to see sort of his point of view on this in the battle report that he's going to do. But as always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Otherwise, we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.